I think it's easier at this point to start listing off all the conspiracy theories that have been started over the past 5 years, or the ones that haven't come true, because now we're just running out of them. When it comes to the coup, all of the lockdowns, start taking a look at what courts were looking at what when it comes to 2020, at the end of the year in November. Can't get too specific because YouTube, wonderful platform, but as for January 6th, yeah, that entire thing was just a big ol' op right there. And thanks to Tucker Carlson, who I don't trust as far as I can throw, and it is Fox News after all, he's at least releasing some of the video footage. Now, he's going to be drip feeding this to everybody because, hell, he's got an entire week's worth of content that he needs to put out there. But I find it very interesting because he apparently got these tapes directly from the desk of Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House right now. And it's funny, the thought process of the Republican Party to take it to the biggest name in cable news, which I didn't see these firsthand. All I seen was that it was trending. And it's like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And, oh, yeah, no, kind of knew that a couple years ago. But, oh, now we're here? Great, wonderful, fantastic. Now at least people are starting to admit it. So if it would have been put out to, oh, I don't know, maybe somebody who has a little bit more longevity, a little bit more interactive with their audience, hand it off to the likes of, oh God, I'd even hate to say it, but Tim Pool. Tim Pool would have done a hell of a good job with it. Steven Crowder probably would have done the best with it. And there were a bunch of different avenues, but no, they went directly to Tucker Carlson because he's the biggest name on the most sycophantic, well, I guess, a sympathetic platform, theoretically, but also given the fact that nobody else has talked about it so far because they're all just entirely controlled ops, you take what you can get. And even though this will just be rage baited out of the headlines very, very shortly because nobody else wants to talk about it, well, fuck it. Might as well talk about it right now. So, for the biggest revelations, and we got some footage to run as well. Okay, it's not just going to be me talking about this. We got some actual footage. Fox News' Tucker Carlson aired newly released footage of the January 6th, 2021. So we're over 2 years later, and the public is finally, after how many different investigations, how many different prime time publicly funded and broadcast on major news network investigation panels. Why is this the first time? Why is this the first time that we're actually seeing the security footage? Gee, it's almost like the mono party wanted to run a narrative to make sure that the orange man was going to stay away from the White House and that they could reinforce that the orange man is really bad. But yes, what's in the clips that Tucker showed, which include clips of the QAnon shaman. Oh yes, the guy who kicked down the doors to the upper chambers and he took over the gavel and he was basically insurrecting the entire republic. Well, not quite. Government name Jacob Chansley and Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died one day after the riot. No, he was bludgeoned to death by a fire extinguisher. You remember when that narrative was running around? And then it was refuted very easily, very succinctly, but by pointing out that, no, he actually died of a stroke and he had a medical condition afterwards. And the only person who died that day was Ashley Babbitt, who I don't know if she gets name checked in any of this stuff. She was still somebody, and her surviving family is never going to see justice at all. Of course not. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy granted Carlson more access to more than 40,000 hours of security camera footage from the Capitol riot. Can we even call it a riot at this point? Because we're seeing all of the footage that was down there, and wow, outside it looked pretty sketchy, but unless, of course, you want to compare and contrast it to other insurrections, like the most recent one for the trans protests in Oklahoma, where there were hundreds of fat, sweaty, disgusting messes that waddled into the state house, or Wisconsin, back when Kavanaugh was doing his confirmation hearings off the back of that lying bitch. But this op is the only one that's being considered a riot. Interesting. Carlson said the footage will show the Democrats as well as former GOP lawmakers. Really? You'd consider them Republican, huh? Cheney and Kinzinger. We're going to be hearing from them a little bit later because, yeah, funny. It's funny the spin that they're taking on all this. who sat on the House Select Committee, lied about the events of the Capitol riot. Yes, they did. In a statement to The Hill on Monday, Representative Bennett Thompson chaired the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack, criticized McCarthy for allowing the Fox News host who spews lies and propaganda. You're going to see a whole host of shaming language throughout all of this. And that's what I find so funny about all of this, really. They don't repudiate any of the facts that you can see with your own lying eyes. It's just simply shaming, insults, guilt, and a need to be right. A lot of that language that you're going to be seeing throughout the rest of this coverage. Not for me, because, you know, our eyes work and I can look at footage and it's like, yeah, no, I knew that this was all just a big op to begin with. So, as you can see, oh, just look at how terrible and awful the outside of the building was on public property. Kate, wonderful, fantastic. The family of Officer Brian Sicknick, who was injured while physically engaging with protesters. Was he really, though? Because we also see him just kind of wandering around. And in fact, I got the statement right here. The Sicknick family is outraged at the ongoing attack on our family by the unscrupulous and outright sleazy so-called news network of Fox News, who will do the bidding of Trump. You haven't been paying attention to them, have you? Or any of the sycophantic followers. No matter what damage is done to the family of the fallen. He died of a... Listen, bitch, nothing happened at the place. Like, he was not injured. We've been over this multiple times. The officers who put their lives on the line, how many of them died? Just asking. How many people died that day? There was a chick that overdosed. There was a dude that had a heart attack or a stroke in the parking lot. This was before the jab, so don't get concerned about that. Somebody else mysteriously died as well. Officer the day after, and then somebody, I think, redecorated their roof. I'm not entirely sure, but it's funny, you want to work in other things as well, but will you mention all of those brave officers that were there that seen a woman crawling through a window and decided at about 50 some odd feet the other way that she was a raving lunatic and that she needed to put two in her chest in order to keep her away from the hallowed halls of Congress? No, you don't want to make reference to that now, would you? Fox has shown time and time again that they do little more than propaganda arm of the Republican Party, and like Pravda, hardy fucking har. Do you even hear yourself? Will do whatever they are told to keep the hatred and lies flowing while suppressing anything resembling the truth. Well, do you care to dispute any of the video footage? Untampered, undoctored footage? No. Again, sign language. A lot of it. Fox does this not for any sense of morality. Oh, see, just an appeal to morality. As they have none. Oh, shit. Burn! But for the quest for every penny of advertising money they can get from those who buy airtime for them. Yes, exactly, those self-lubricating catheters and reverse mortgages. God damn you, stop funding the evil. It was well past time that we move past Trump, the GOP, and all the lies which have severely weakened and divided us as a nation and start seeking truth. Well, yeah, you could take a look at the footage, you know, you could find the truth. But no, the truth is a little bit uncomfortable, so we don't want to have to rationalize that. Tucker Carlson claims that Fox has been looking over the video feeds from the Capitol with full access supplied by the disgusting excuse for a House Speaker. This was supposed to be a refutation of the footage that was released. Not doing a lot of that. A lot of insults. A lot of insults. From the Capitol, with full access supplied by our disgusting excuse for a House Speaker for the truth. Carlson's truth is to pick and choose footage that supports his delusional views that the January 6th insurrectionist was peaceful and that Ashley Babbitt was some kind of martyr because she was shot in the process of breaking into the Capitol building. Oh, well, clearly you haven't seen any of the footage beforehand that shows that she was getting pushed and trampled into the door, and Lieutenant Byrd had a bit of an itchy trigger finger. It's funny, he could actually find his sidearm. Normally he likes to keep it resting cozily on the urinal. He's an idiot. While making a criminal out of the martyr, he is also downplaying the horrid situation faced by the United States Capitol Police and DC Metro Police, who were incredibly outnumbered and were literally fighting for their very lives. Yeah, we'll show you. One officer, Brian Sicknick, lost that fight the following day, and several more officers lost that fight in the following weeks. Nothing to do with their actual injuries sustained at the Capitol. Just saying. On video, Officer Sicknick looks like he managed to shake off a chemical irritants and resume his duties. No sign of that at all whatsoever back at the precinct, but okay. That he did, but his sense of duty and incredible work ethic were... God, this is just also fucking modeling. I don't care. What will take to silence the lies of the people like what will it take to silence the lies from people like Carlson? Showing security cam footage? Showing what actually happened instead of just having lies told to you? Comforting lies instead of the uncomfortable truth? Interesting. Fictitious news outlets like Fox and its rabid followers will not allow that. Well, I don't really think that Fox News has rabid followers, but okay. I didn't think a bunch of 70-year-olds were really worked up into a furry. Every time the pain of that day seems to have ebbed a bit, organizations like Fox rip our wounds wide open again, and we are frankly sick of it. Yeah, I don't remember the last time they talked about January 6th, but whatever, man. It's kind of the other party that's constantly bringing it up, like gay black press secretary lady who continues to say stupid shit like it was the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. She said that. She's a real treat. Leave us the hell alone, and instead of spreading mass lies, many lies, it's all fucking blocked out. From Supreme Leader Trump. What's he in charge of exactly? Mar-a-Lago? Well, even that's a little bit tenuous, but okay. Why don't you focus on real news? Yeah, stop showing facts and footage, you dirty bastards. I mean, it sucks that this dude is dead and all. It just has nothing to do with what happened at the Capitol, honestly. On March 6th, the Department of Justice said that around 1,000 people had been arrested in connection with the January 6th attack, including more than 100 who were charged with using a deadly or dangerous weapon or causing serious bodily injury to an officer. Yeah, how many people are still being held pending trial? Still people in there, which is ridiculous. Speaking on his Fox News show, Carlson said that the 2020 election, which former President Donald Trump falsely claimed was rigged, was a grave betrayal of American democracy. Carlson also claims the footage will shed new light on what occurred during the January 6th attack when Trump is accused of inciting how many times does that have to be investigated as well? He was inciting an insurrection. You had a Senate trial. You had an entire committee about it. You have people that can look at the speech itself, and it's like, okay, how many more times do we have to run this through? Oh, at least 15 more times, and it's never actually going to go away. Okay, cool. Well, here's the facts and evidence. You're a bigot for showing it. No, just shut your fucking mouths. Anyways, so yeah, let's just double back around to Sicknick. During the Monday night show, Carlson played footage of the Capitol Police officer Brian Sicknick performing his duties on January 6th to dismiss the idea that his death was the fault of Trump supporters. Carlson showed clips of Sicknick looking healthy and vigorous after he was attacked by Trump supporters and dismissed the suggestion that his death was linked to the injuries he received that day. Yeah, we got the footage of it. So I don't need to have any sound on it because this is just, I guess, footage from outside. Like, come on, let's just go ahead and fucking hop ahead a bit. I don't care about, okay, there's, yeah, okay. And the pictures of Sicknick after the day, I guess, but really, I don't know, nor do I really care all that much. And oh my god, yes, wonderful, fantastic. Everybody path this stupid little, yeah, just this little gimmick there. But as you can see, yeah, and then they highlight it right there. All of the people, you know, not knocking over, not making any damages. And it's like, come on, no, just stand in line with the rest of the troop. And there he is, moving a sign or something like that. Where does the chemicals come in? I want to know that part of it, because, you know, he was apparently beat to death by a fire extinguisher, but I must have been after, you know, hey man, like I said, he's got a week's worth of shows that he needs to plan out, so obviously he'll come back to that at some point in time, right? Josh Hawley. Okay, in July of 2022, the January 6th House panel played footage of Missouri Senator Josh Hawley fleeing from the mob. I remember that. He was doing a light, brisk jog, and then they never actually showed a mob behind him, but All right. After they had breached the Capitol, prompting laughter from those who were watching the hearing at the Cannon House office building in Washington, D.C. On Monday, Carlson claimed the footage was propaganda against a Republican, while noting Hawley was one of several lawmakers being ushered out of the building by police. Wow, a lawmaker adhering to the suggestions of the police. That's front page news, I guess. In fact, Hawley was at the back of the pack. The coward tape was a lie, one of many from the January 6th committee. Oh, and our everybody's favorite glowy, Ray Epps. Oh, what do we got? Carlson also discussed Ray Epps, an Arizona man at the center of a right-wing conspiracy theory. Well, is it? Carlson played footage showing Epps outside the Capitol around 30 minutes after he told January 6th House Select Committee. Never testified in person, though. Very strange. But they managed to find some fucking decent-looking intern to come in and say, well, Trump was basically doing a front seat Chevy Suburban Aikido on a fully trained Secret Service member in order to hijack a vehicle in order to get back to the Capitol. It was so scary. I'd heard it like 3 times removed. Surveillance footage we found shows that, in fact, Ray Epps remained at the Capitol for at least for another hour and a half. Oh, interesting. What was Epps doing there? We can't say. What do we know that do we know that he lied to investigators? The January 6th committee likely knew this too. Of course, because they probably have his itinerary because he's on the dole. Democrats had access to the same tapes, yet they defended Epps. Defended or used him as propaganda. But there is one more thing. Like we said, right up at the top, there's 4 different revelations, at least from this drop right here. So we got Ray Epps, we had the Josh Hawley tape, we had Brian Sicknick, and then, of course, we had the QAnon Shaman. And we just got footage right here because it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting because, as you can see, oh, there's the man in the buffalo hat, and then you had 2 officers. 2 officers check a locked door, and made sure that it was locked. And then, oh, you have a whole host of officers right there while the QAnon shaman is going where exactly? Again, just a terrifying insurrection that you have right there. Obviously, they're concerned about that weapon that he's holding in his hand before they open up the door and give him, I don't know, just security clearance to get inside the Senate where everybody's, just role-playing and doing weird prayers, I guess. There you go. That's your quality of insurrection. Are you scared? Do you think that democracy is crumbling around us? Well, after seeing all this stuff, and we know that Trump is an avid Fox News, avid Tucker Carlson fan. What was his take on this? Well, pretty predictable, because once again, Trump was right about literally everything. Former President Donald Trump reacted to Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson releasing new and unseen footage. I can't believe we still have unseen fucking footage. Like, yes, there's 40,000 hours from a bunch of different cameras, obviously. You think they had an entire House committee, they had an entire panel, they had an entire investigation, they had an entire impeachment over this shit, and they couldn't find anything in 40,000 hours. But Tucker Carlson in the first drop has a whole host of footage that shows exoneration. Oh, but the other side has sign language, so that's good, which appears to portray a different picture than the one that former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi painted. Oh, the same Nancy Pelosi that decided to tell the National Guard to stand down. We don't need additional help on January 6th because we have enough officers to usher everybody in for photo ops so we can paint Trump in a bad light. Your Tucker Carlson segment on Monday footage showed scenes that ran contrary to the narratives put forth by the fat pig from Wyoming and the January 6th committee by claiming that the rioters had participated in an insurrection. Former President Trump celebrated the segment, calling it one of the biggest scoops in U.S. history. Yeah, they got exclusive access to it, and they did a pretty good job by grabbing everybody's attention. Sort of, kind of, even though we're just all kind of getting this through third-party channels because I don't know necessarily who's watching Fox News all the time. Like, yeah, Tucker's the biggest name in the game, but that's like the largest goldfish in a koi pond. It's not that impressive, but okay. The Unselect Committee was a giant scam, the biggest scam. Everybody knows it. That's what everybody tells me as well, and that's what they say. I would tend to believe them, and has now unequivocally been stamped as criminal fabricators of the most important day. Pelosi and McConnell failed on security. They're failures. We need to get rid of them. One's already gone, and the other one, I don't know why he's still there. Police story is sad and difficult to watch. Trump and most others are totally innocent. Let them go free now. A whole new and completely opposite picture has now been indelibly painted. Indelibly, you like that word? I found a new word and I tried to work it in one of my truths. It's great. It's fantastic. People tell me all the time I just need to diversify my vocabulary a little bit, and I tell them, oh, it'd be really great to try to spice it up a bit. Anyways, the Unselect Committee lied and I should be prosecuted for their actions. That's what I would do if I was still in charge, which, hey, the people tell me all the time I should still be in charge, and we'll try to make that happen in 2024, but as of right now, I'm not in charge. Nancy and Mitch were a disaster on security. Thank you, Kevin and Tucker. Free at last. Yo, man, for as hard as the other side was beating this drum about January 6th over the past, 2.5 years, saying that, this is exactly what's going to happen. And then they kind of facilitated it happening. Very interesting. I would just continue to run this stuff every single time. That's what the rebuttal should be going forward, because the other side ain't really offering up all that much sauce, as you have one of the people that sat on the panel, sat on the committee, had access to all of this footage right there. Well, what's his take on this? Oh, no, there's other footage that's in there, and this is taken out of context. No, Tucker Carlson's a grifter, and the coverage is disgusting. Is he running back his old footage? We got Adam Kinzinger right here. Oh, hey, look at that, Don Lemon. He's back on CNN. Wouldn't know. Very few people would. Nobody watches that shit. Former Representative Adam Kinzinger, now a CNN contributor. That sucks. Said on Tuesday on CNN this morning that Fox News host Tucker Carlson is a grifter. Oh my fuck. What does he want to get into? Just online blood sports? Like, is that what he's just going to start throwing around grifter? All right. Adam Kinzinger said through tears, "It's disgusting. The sad thing is you're going to have people that they're only got their news on Fox News, that they're never going to have the opportunity to hear the truth. Well, you could watch the truth, but that's too difficult because there's just so much blood and guts. You don't want to see the actual unredacted footage. It's so terrible. What Tucker Carlson employs here and employed at the time has been as a grifter TV show host, because he knows better than this. By the way, he takes a cutscene and creates a straw man." He's unironically saying this on CNN. Holy. He continued, "First off, I'll stave the vocal fry for a second. First off, on the opening, there's where he says, look, this is the only, a handful of people here. I know one of those rooms, particularly statutory hall, was filled with people. I know something. Don't believe your lying eyes." Fucking hilarious. There's tons of pictures of that. Where are they exactly? Where are they? Oh, okay, cool. Don't show that. Don't reference that at all whatsoever. Don't believe the video footage. Some point leading up to or after, there are moments where there are only a few people in there. Oh, okay, cool. So it definitely happened at some point in time. See, there's so many people there. Oh, sir, that's a still from the State of the Union. Shut your mouth. But doing the warm handoff to another Republican, Mitch McConnell, calls it a mistake. You really shouldn't have been covering this because, well, we're trying to get Trump to never run again. So if you cover this stuff, well, you're denying the official narrative, and we can't be having that now because Orange Man's bad, and we really like that Nikki Haley girl. She's got the nice hair, and if we can convince the Florida man to run, Well, he's a little bit more controllable than the orange man who incited an insurrection. It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict, and now he's just becoming even more unintelligible, but whatever, to depict in this way, in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official at the Capitol thinks. Well, that's nice. I don't give a fuck what he thinks. I've seen the footage with my eyes, and you're gonna have to do a little bit better than a folded piece of paper that comes out of your old dusty Sears jacket. I don't fucking care, bro. McConnell became the latest to condemn the video footage alongside his compatriot out there. I'm not gonna play the 6 minutes of this, because hearing Chuck Schumer talk for 6 minutes, I would be better served loading a double-barrel shotgun and attaching a tow trigger with 6 minutes than listening to that fuck. So shout out to the Columbia Bugle for clipping this little portion. If you'd like to listen to it, I'll just link it out and go for it yourself. But old Chucky Schumer went down to the Senate floor this morning to condemn Tucker Carlson's January 6th tapes segment last night, call for Fox News and Rupert Murdoch to stop Tucker Carlson. Stop releasing the truth. We have the truth. You can't listen to the truth. Repeat the lie about the death of Officer Brian Sicknick. Hilarious. Yo, like they say right there, there's going to be another drop. It's probably going to be just as inflammatory. And then the spurg out on top of that is going to be just as legendary. Hopefully we'll get something half as good as what Whoopi is alleging right here. Here, again, 4.5 minutes of The View. I would rather be waterboarded for 4.5 minutes. Fuck this. Whoopi Goldberg says Tucker Carlson took a page from George Orwell's 1984 by showing more footage from January 6th than was previously provided. Okay, we might have to listen to a little bit of that because that just sounds so fucking absurd. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Took a page from George Orwell's 1984 and told his viewers to reject the evidence of their eyes and ears.
What? No, he's showing evidence, and I don't want to say that you're watching television wrong, but you're watching television wrong. The dreadlocks belong on the sides of your head, not in the front of your head. Just saying.
Take a look.
The crowd was enormous.
Yeah.
A small percentage of them were hooligans.
And a lot of them were Antifa. Whoopsie. What was that? John Earl Sullivan, former CNN contributor. Oh, he was down there, and he was getting a lot of that footage. Interesting, though.
They committed vandalism. You've seen their pictures again and again.
Oh, my God.
But the overwhelming majority...
all of those people with the covered-up faces. Just got to run that back a little bit, but yeah. Covered-up faces, just like Trump supporters, right?
Again. But the overwhelming majority weren't. Yeah. They were peaceful. They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists.
Take a look at what's on the table.
They were sightseers.
Ain't that great?
Footage from inside the Capitol overturns the story.
Hey, you leave those velvet ropes right there, and you guys just walk right through them. Well, there's nobody there, but I remember, hey, do you guys remember that one picture, that dangerous insurrectionist who's carrying the speaker's podium like this, but, you know, he was one of those dangerous and evil men that were out there, right?
Or you've heard about January 6th. Protesters queue up in neat little lines. They give each other tours outside the speaker's office. They take cheerful selfies and they smile.
Like a fucking boomer. Of course, the only thing that's missing is just the half-dirty bathroom mirror and a shit Tinder profile.
They're not destroying the Capitol. They obviously revere the Capitol.
Yeah, going through the front door.
The audience is laughing. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's the audience of The View with the average IQ at room temperature. And you guys all hate Jews, so why do I listen to you guys anyways? I'll have my ear tuned to this because, hey man, even a broken clock can be right twice a day. Like, we seen your text message exchange, Tucker. We know that you're not exactly 1000% on side. But if you're just going to go out there and you're going to put the footage out there, and even if you just want to go out there and espouse the truth, kudos to you, because you're doing better than literally anybody else in cable news. But that's also like being the smartest retard. Not exactly the biggest accomplishment. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.